I'm Brian Winnikin. We are at the 72nd Annual National Association of Farm Broadcasting Convention in Kansas City. Thank you to Annabis Silo of Duran, the Animal Wellness Center of Buffalo Valley, BASF, and Growth Energy for sponsoring our broadcasts. I'm with Dr. John Anderson. He's Deputy Chief Economist with American Farm Bureau Federation. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the farm economy. And Dr. Anderson, well, thank you for joining us. I guess first, Wisconsin dairy exports, China, that's all kind of a big deal. And this year it's been kind of a challenge, especially for dairy, and it has affected milk markets. What is your crystal ball telling you? Is this going to maybe recover?
Well, it's been a tough year really across the board for ag exports, and I think that's true if you talk about dairy products, if you talk about pork or beef, or really all of our major commodities. And a big part of the issue is we've had some slowdown in the Asian region, particularly in China, and that they obviously pull a lot of commodities in, not just from the United States, but from everywhere. So a little bit of slowdown in demand there. Probably a bigger factor, maybe a more immediate factor, is that the dollar has been very strong this year, and that strong dollar makes our products less affordable overseas, makes our competitors' products more affordable in comparison to us, and makes it a tough environment to export. And I think that's been the major factor that we've seen. So you put a lot of factors together. We've had higher production really for a lot of our commodities. We've got this strong dollar, some slowdown in the Asian economies that's made our export business a little soft, and that's really kind of taken us back in some of our commodity markets.
You mentioned the strong dollar. Now, with the Federal Reserve, they haven't raised interest rates yet, but the job unemployment report comes out low. And everybody, and even Chairwoman Yellen kind of telegraphed it. Is everyone and their brother still expecting the December meeting that we're going to see an interest rate hike? And how would that then affect our exports?
Well, we've had the strong dollar in spite of really low interest rates because our economy has performed really well relative to a lot of the other economies in the world. You look ahead to where we might go with an interest rate increase, and I think that is a concern. It's something to keep an eye on because as our interest rates go up, that's got the potential to further strengthen the dollar against these other currencies. I don't know what to expect in terms of the Fed's actions. It's there are a lot of people that make a living trying to anticipate what the Fed is going to do, and I'm not one of those people. I think certainly what we've got to expect is that interest rates will go up from where they are now. I mean, we're at rock bottom on interest rates, and we have been for a long, long time in any historic sense. Will it happen in December? Will it happen in January? I don't know, but I think sometime in the not too distant future, we've got to anticipate an interest rate increase. I do think it'll be very modest. I mean, I really think what we're looking at is probably as slow an incremental change in the status quo as the Fed can pull off. So I don't think we'll see anything terribly aggressive, but there's really almost nowhere to go but up from where we are.
We are talking with Dr. John Anderson. He is a Deputy Chief Economist with the American Farm Bureau Federation. Staying on with trade, obviously another big topic right now is the Trans-Pacific Partnership. That debate is getting underway. And this is going to take a little while, from what at least I've been told. Could be later 2016 before this actually gets to a vote. Is there a concern that it's going to be taking too long to get to a vote?
Well, that is a concern. It will take a while. This is not something, obviously the deal has been negotiated. Everybody's seen the deal now. I won't say that we've all read every word of it because it's a very long deal, but it's out there. It's out there being considered. But the timeline is a lot longer than I think most people think. This is not something that, hey, it's out there. The Senate's going to vote on this next week, and we'll go from here. The International Trade Commission has got to do a full evaluation and analysis of the program, and they've got to get that to Congress so that Congress can have something to make a decision on. That evaluation won't be done before around mid-May, early to mid-May, so nothing can happen any earlier than that. That'll put us right in the heat of the presidential election. I'm not sure that with the election going on and both sides jockeying for position there that there's going to be much stomach for taking up what could be a controversial issue. So we probably are looking at maybe a lame duck session in 2016 before there's a lot of excitement about getting this done. That lame duck session is going to be really busy. Who knows what else is going to be pushed into that session by the time we get there. So I think late 2016 is the earliest we could probably hope for. There is an outside chance this could be done before the election in 2016. politics may evolve between now and then to the point where it is doable. But just looking at it right now, I'd have to lay odds against a controversial vote before the election. So that puts us into late 16 at the earliest, and we'll see.
We are talking with Dr. John Anderson, Chief Deputy Economist, or Deputy Chief Economist for American Farm Bureau Federation, with the Trans-Pacific Partnership for Wisconsin, Minnesota, the Upper Midwest. How important is this agreement?
I think the agreement is really significant for agriculture for a couple of reasons, and it's significant for the broader economy. First of all, we're talking about 12 countries involved here. Now, some of those countries are countries that we already have free trade areas with: Canada, Mexico, Chile, Australia. But we've got Japan in the mix, Vietnam, Malaysia. There's very populous countries. In the case of Japan, a fairly wealthy country, and already the fourth largest ag trading partner we have. So improving our access in some of those markets where we don't already have agreements really is a significant deal, and that's the real appeal of the TPP from agriculture standpoint. And there is some real improvement in the access that we have in some of those key markets. Now, I would say typically in agriculture for these deals, the United States already offers great access to our market. We do impose some tariffs and duties on a handful of items. They tend to be very low and not very many items covered. So compared to most other countries, we give up a lot less in these kind of agreements than they do. And I think that's the case when you look at the TPP. For example, if you look at market access to the United States versus what's gained in market access to Japan, there already was an imbalance there, and the TPP kind of brings us closer together in a way that's fairer, I think, to the United States. And so it is an important deal in respect of leveling the playing field, because we already do provide a lot of good access. For dairy specifically, dairy is always kind of a touchy subject in terms of trade deals. We would love to have gotten more, I think, out of Canada, some more concessions on their system, but we do get improved access there. We give up a little bit, I think, to New Zealand to their dairy sector, but not very much. I think on balance, we're still evaluating the deal. We've still got a long way to go to evaluating the deal, but I think the initial read on it is fairly favorable. We do give up some on a few items, but we're a very open country in terms of trade, and this kind of brings other countries closer to us, which I think is a fair thing and a favorable thing.
Dr. Anderson, again, thank you for joining us.
Good to be here. Thank you.
That is Dr. John Anderson. He is a Deputy Chief Economist with the American Farm Bureau Federation from the National Association of Farm Broadcasting Convention in Kansas City. I'm Brian Winnikins.